You come home. Something is knocked over, or chewed, or knocked off the shelf. And your cat is sitting there with that look. You know the look. The lowered head, the flattened ears, the wide eyes, the particular stillness that reads, unmistakably, as guilty. You say their name in that voice, the one that means you already know what happened. And their whole body responds. They flatten further. They look away. They make themselves smaller. And you think, they know. They absolutely know what they did. But here's what the science says. Your cat does not feel guilty. Not because they are incapable of complex emotion. Not because they do not care about you. But because guilt, as a neurological experience, requires a specific cognitive capacity that cats do not possess. And what you are reading as guilt on their face is something else entirely. Something that, once you understand it, tells you far more about your relationship with your cat than guilt ever could. Let us talk about what is really happening. 1. Guilt requires something cats do not have. Guilt, in the neurological sense, is not simply feeling bad. It is a specific cognitive operation. It requires the ability to hold two timelines simultaneously, what I did and what I should have done instead. It requires understanding that an action was wrong by an external standard that exists independently of whether I am currently being observed. And it requires connecting a past action to a present consequence across a gap of time. Dogs have been studied extensively in this area. A landmark study by Alexandra Horowitz at Barnard College tested whether dogs showed more guilt displays when they had actually eaten a forbidden treat versus when they had not. The result was unambiguous. Dogs showed the same guilt display regardless of whether they had done anything wrong. What predicted the display was not the dog's behavior. It was the owner's tone of voice and body language upon returning. The guilt look was a response to the human, not a reflection of internal remorse. The research on cats tells the same story. What looks like guilt is a reading of the social situation. Your cat does not know what they did was wrong. They know that right now, in this moment, you are behaving differently than usual. And their nervous system is responding to that. 2. What you are actually seeing is appeasement. The lowered head, the flattened ears, the averted gaze, the body made small. These are not the physical expressions of internal guilt. They are appeasement signals. Specific, evolutionarily ancient behaviors that exist to de-escalate perceived threat and communicate non-aggression to a more dominant social figure. When your cat reads that you are upset, their nervous system does not search their recent history for the cause. It does not replay the last few hours and identify the specific action that led to this moment. What it does is assess the current social environment. There is tension. The human is displaying signals associated with displeasure. The appropriate response, in the feline behavioral vocabulary, is to make themselves smaller, less threatening, less confrontational. This is not dishonesty. It is not manipulation. It is a social reflex that exists to maintain the bond under pressure. Your cat is not confessing. They are adapting. They are doing the thing their biology knows how to do when the air in the room shifts. And if this is changing the way you see that look right now, go ahead and subscribe. Every video on this channel is built around what the science actually says, not what we assume. What we cover next goes even deeper. 3. They are reading you, not remembering what they did. Here is the detail that makes this most clear. Research into cat cognition has found that a cat's episodic-like memory, their ability to recall specific past events, operates most strongly in contexts that were significant to their survival. Where food was found, which humans are safe, what sounds predict danger. The experience of knocking your houseplant off the windowsill 3 hours ago while you were at work does not meet the threshold of survival relevant that would commit it firmly to recall. What does meet that threshold is your current behavior, the particular tension in your voice, the pace of your movement, the way your body is positioned relative to theirs. These are the signals their nervous system was built to read in real time, with precision, because they are the signals that predict what happens next. Your cat is not thinking about the past. They are responding to the present. And in the present, something about you is telling their nervous system to brace. So they brace. And the brace looks, to a human eye, exactly like guilt. 4. The face you call guilty is actually the face of social intelligence. Step back from the specific context for a moment and consider what is actually happening when your cat reads your emotional state and adjusts their behavior in response. They are doing something extraordinarily sophisticated. They are reading micro-expressions, body tension, vocal tone, and behavioral signals from a different species. They are processing that information faster than conscious thought allows, and they are selecting a behavioral response from their social vocabulary that is calibrated to reduce tension and maintain the bond. This is not a simple animal failing to understand what they did wrong. This is a socially intelligent creature navigating a complex interspecies relationship in real time, with considerable skill. Research into cat social cognition has found that cats are significantly more attentive to human emotional states than has historically been assumed. They track facial expressions. They respond differently to happy versus angry human voices. They adjust their behavior based on whether the person in the room is paying attention to them or not. Your cat's ability to read you is not incidental. It is one of the defining features of a species that spent thousands of years learning to exist alongside humans. Studies have documented that cats can distinguish between a calm human face and an emotionally activated one with a speed that bypasses conscious processing. They are not thinking about what your expression means. They are responding to it the way their nervous system was built to respond. Faster than thought. More accurately than most humans give them credit for. What you call the guilty face is looked at differently, evidence of that intelligence. They saw something in you. They understood it mattered. And they responded in the most socially appropriate way that biology knows. 5. Your reaction shapes what they learn from the moment. If your cat is not processing guilt, if they are processing your current emotional state and responding to it, then what you do in that moment matters more than most owners realize. A cat who is met with sustained displeasure, a raised voice, a long confrontation about something they did hours ago, is not learning that the behavior was wrong. They are not connecting your current reaction to their past action across that time gap. What they are learning is that your return sometimes comes with an unpredictable shift in energy, that the space around you is not always safe to predict, that the bond between you sometimes produces experiences their nervous system files under threat. This does not mean you cannot express frustration. It means that expressing it in ways that your cat cannot connect to their own behavior serves no corrective purpose and costs something in the trust account every time. Research into punishment-based versus positive reinforcement approaches in cat behavior management consistently shows that punishment applied after the fact not only fails to change the target behavior, it introduces anxiety and reduces the quality of the cat-human bond over time. The cat does not learn what you wanted them to learn. They learn something about you instead. 6. What they face is actually telling you about your relationship. Here's the reframe that matters most. When your cat shows that look, the lowered head, the wide eyes, the made small body, they are not confessing. They are not performing. They are showing you, in the clearest way their biology allows, that your emotional state matters to them. A cat who is truly indifferent to their owner does not produce appeasement signals when that owner is upset. There is no need to appease someone whose opinion carries no weight. The fact that your cat reads your displeasure and responds to it is evidence that you matter to them, that the bond between you has enough weight in their social world to produce a response. The look you have been reading as guilt is, looked at from the other direction, proof of attachment. It is your cat saying, in the only language they have for it, I can feel that something is wrong between us, and I do not want it to be wrong. I do not know what caused this, but I know I want it to stop. That is not guilt, but it might be something more honest than guilt. It is the unedited, unperformed, biologically direct expression of a creature that cares about the state of your relationship and is doing the only thing it knows how to do to repair it. And think about what that requires of them. To read your emotional state with the precision they bring to it. To feel the shift in the room and respond to it immediately. To produce a display that is specifically calibrated to de-escalate and reconnect. Your cat is not failing to feel guilty. They are succeeding at something harder. They are trying, in real time, to bring you back to them. 7. How to respond when you see that face. Knowing what the look actually means changes what the right response is. And the right response is simpler than most owners expect. When you see the appeasement display, what your cat needs in that moment is for the social threat to resolve. Not a confrontation they cannot connect to a specific memory. Not a lecture in a language they do not speak. What they need is for the tension in the room to decrease. For the version of you that reads as safe and predictable to return. This does not mean pretending nothing happened. It means understanding that the conversation with your cat and the internal processing of what happened are two separate events that do not need to occur simultaneously. Take a breath. Let your body soften. Speak in your normal voice. Give them a moment to see that the threat has passed, and watch their body do the same. The ears will come forward. The posture will open. The eye contact will become soft rather than averted. That transition, from appeasement to ease, is your cat's nervous system registering that the bond is intact, that the person they are attached to is still the person they predicted, that the relationship, which felt uncertain for a moment, is safe again. Your cat never felt guilty, but they absolutely felt the importance of making things right between you. And in the end, that might be the more important thing. If you watched this and thought about a specific moment, a specific look on a specific face, and felt it shift in your understanding, that is not you letting your cat off the hook. That is you seeing your cat more clearly than you did before. Every video on this channel begins the same way, with a question most cat owners have never stopped to ask. And then we go looking for the real answer. Not the simplified version, not the comfortable assumption, the actual science, the studies, the behavioral research that takes years to surface and rarely reaches people in a way that feels like a real conversation. That is what we do here every single time. If this video gave you something, hit like, drop a comment and tell us about the most convincing guilty face your cat has ever given you. And subscribe, because what we are covering next will change the way you see your cat all over again. The more you understand them, the closer you get to something most people spend a lifetime living beside and never fully seeing. And that is always worth staying for.